everyone, welcome to my new video, and in this video I will be telling you that chapter 1 of English NCRT class 8th. So let's start the chapter over here. The name of the chapter is the best Christmas present in the world. So let's start this chapter and read this chapter and get to know that what is there inside this chapter. So let's go. Before you read, there are some dates or periods of time in the history of the world that are so significant that everyone knows and remembers them. The story you will read mentions one such date and event, a war between the British and the Germans in 1914. Can you guess which war it was? Do you know which events the date below refers to? 4 July 1776, 17 December 1903, 6th of August 1945, 30 January 1948, 12 April 1961, 20 of July 1969. And the answer is on page number 23, so you can mark it from there. So let's start over here. I spotted it in a junk shop in Brightport, a roll top desk. The man said it was a nearly 19th century and oak. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. This one was in a bad condition, the roll top in several pieces, 1 lakh clumsily mended, scorch marks all round, down and at one side. It was going for very little money. I thought I could restore it. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom, and the back of the garage began work on it on Christmas Eve. So according to here, what does it means to tell is that there's a person, we don't know what is the name of that person, and he goes to an Brightport junk shop. Over there he finds a very big junk shop, and over there he found a roll top desk, a desk with a roll top. I hope you all have understood this line. Next line says, there was a man, and it was nearly around the 19th century, and oak was too expensive, but he wanted one of the roll top desk. He found one of the roll top desk, but it was really in a very bad condition. The roll top was in several pieces. It was like in several pieces, and one of its legs was like mended. It was broken, you can say. There were many scorch marks. Scorch mark means burn marks. There were many burn marks on it, all down and everywhere. It was going for very little money, but actually the chair's price was very low, and it was really going in a very little money, and the author also wanted it. So he thought that he could buy it, and he bought it, and he thought that if he could restore it easily in his back garage, so he took it, and then he goes to his workroom, and then he had gone to his garage, and he started working it on the Christmas Eve. So over here you have understood. What have you understood? That there is a person who goes from the junk shop in Brightport. He finds a roll top desk, and it was made up of oak, and it was too expensive, but he finds a very bad condition roll top desk. So over here, what was the condition it is saying? You can highlight this point. The condition of the roll top desk was, the roll top was in several pieces, 1 leg clumsily mended, scorch marks all down upsides. It was going very little money. Okay, so you don't do this, it was going for very little money, but you can write till here, scorch marks to here, right? You can write from here the bad condition. It is totally saying that what was the condition of the table. So let's go further. Yes, I removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. So over here, what it is saying, what is the meaning of veneer? Is a thin layer of plastic or decorative wood on furniture of cheap wood. So he removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers that were there inside the table, roll top table. He removed all the drawers and the almost a thin layer of the plastics and the decorative wood and the cheap food, you can see, was almost everywhere. And then what happens is, it looked like water damage to me. Then he thinks that I think this isn't water damage over here. So he gets to know that it was a water damage, and he thinks that both fire and water have clearly taken their toll on this disc. So he means to say that fire plus water together have been put on this, and that's why these marks have been made. Next, the last draw was, and I used brute force. So he used brute force over there, and I struck it sharply with the side of my fist, with the size of my fist, and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath. So after he opened it, what did he saw is, this is the table, and after when he opened this out drawer, so he used all his brute force, he used his all his hands force, and opened that drawer. And then he saw there was a secret drawer over there. There was something in there. There was something which was kept over there as him, and it was looking like if it was in something secret drawer. Okay, and there was a small black box which was sellotaped from above. There was a small black box. So there was a black box over here, and it was sellotaped. For example, this is the black box, and this was sellotaped from upper sides. Okay, like this it was sellotaped. Yes. Next, what is it saying that? And took out a small black tin box. Sellotape to the top of it was a piece of lined notepaper, and writing on it, shaky handwriting, Jim's last letter, received January 25, 1915. So over here, as you all can notice, that Jim's last letter received January 25, 1915. So over here, what it is saying is, Jim, name of a person. Jim is the name of a character in this story, and it was his last letter which was found when January 25, 1915. You can just underline this paper, underline this, and you can also mark this one, that sellotaped one. It is the characteristics of that secret drawer. Okay, you can mark this also. To be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box, but curiosity got better of me, my scruples. It usually does. So he was very much curious about what was there inside the box. So he opens that box and gets to know that there was an envelope inside it. So yes, now we will be continuing this forward. So what happens is, in the second this, dearest Connie, it was written in the letter, dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning, Christmas morning. It was as crisp as it should be and quite all about. As beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, and it was cold and frosty as a Christmas morning should be. So, what is Mr. Jim saying in his letter was that it was a really pleasant, and we all were in our trenches. So, trenches are the long, deep ditches and the holes that have been made. So, they all were like sitting over there, and they were enjoying all that crisp over there, and it was so crispy, and it was very much quiet over there. They had been feeling it, and it was really very beautiful morning on that day. And next what happens is, I should like to be able to tell you that we began it, but that truth I ashamed to say it is that Frisk began it. First someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. So someone sees that from the opposite holes that have been made for hide for an enemy, so over there came a white flag waving. Then they see that they were calling out for some, they were saying to them in the no man's land and saying, Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas. And when we had got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, Same to you, Frisk, same to you. I thought that would be that, we all did, but then suddenly one of them was up there in his great gray coat and waving a white flag. Don't shoot, lads, someone shouted, and no one did. Then there was another fist up on the puppet, and another. Keep your heads down. I told the man it's a trick, but it wasn't. So what happens over here is there was a person who comes over here, means they all were celebrating Christmas, so they were wishing everyone each other happy Christmas, happy Christmas. So replied back, happy Christmas, same to you also. Sorry. So what happens is after this there comes a great coat and weaving a white flag. A person comes and he says, don't shoot lads, please do not shoot us, we have came over here. And everyone tries to say over here, everyone comes at front. And now the person, Mr. Jim, says that keep your head down, it is a trick for everyone to kill others. Now what happens is one of the Germans was waving a bottle up like above his head. It is a Christmas day, Tommy. We have scallops, we have sausage, we met you. Yes. By this time there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land. So in the no man's land everyone had came over there, and the thing was that everyone came over there and they were enjoying and they were having fun for Christmas. Okay, in this para it is only saying this, and in the middle of the no man's land the war was going on, but they were making peace. Now what happens, there comes a first officer. He says, Jim says to Miss Jim Macpherson, he says to Miss Connie Macpherson that there comes a first officer. His name was Hans Wolf, and he comes and he holds my hands warmly, and then he said to me that he was from Dusseldorf and he played cello in an orchestra. So orchestra is like something you can say, place where many people together are there and they enjoy over there. Okay, right. So it is Captain Jim Macpherson. Mr. Jim said to him, and he says to him that I am also from there. I am a school teacher from Dorset in west of England. And then Hans Wolf Macpherson, then Hans Wolf says to him, Dorset, I have been over there. And he says to him that let's share our Russian and his excellent sausage to him. They both have fun over there, and they talk about their famous writers, and they just were talking to each other about from where they were exchanging their information. So you can read this para. Then comes that what happens is they all were enjoying. So in between, a person brings a, what does a person brings is a person brings football over there, and they make goals over there and they play games over there. Some people were cheering everyone, and they all had a lot of fun. Because what happens is in the games, like wars what happens is people die, but in football match no one would die, no children are often, and no wives become widows. So they all were playing this game. Then a person said, I would like to prefer this game for you, cricket. And then they have a lot of fun. The first won, the German soldiers that have been playing, they have won. But as Hans Wolf said, that a goal was wider than theirs, so it wasn't quite fair. So first, what does the first officer Hans Wolf says, that he was like, Hamara goal, it was very big and theirs was quite small, so it's not fair over here. And then they closed that game, and actually the Frist were winning that game, and they have won the game. And after that, after the game is over, they were like, I hope we all see our family again soon, that the fighting would end and we will go our home back. And then they say that every soldier wants on both sides, and then they say take care Jim McPherson, and we won't forget this moment anytime now. And then they both salute each other, and then they go back to their camps. Next, what happened that night in dugouts, we heard them singing a carol, sing it quietly, beautifully. It was silent night, and they all were singing over there. So what does the author says over here? Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again soon, I am sure of it. So he said to him that we shall be together over here, and then he says to Miss Coney Macpherson, and your loving Jim. So now let's go on the third pair. I folded the letter again. So what happens is that he folded the letter again from the envelope. By morning he sees he had gone for Brightport, and then the author goes to Brightport to return it Copper Beaches, house room 12, and then he says that there was a lady over here and she has a bit muddle headed and her age was entitled, wasn't she? So someone says that she has already left over here, and then she used to also. So what happened that her house was burnt out because of, as you all know, in the first starting also it has been said that is how her house was burned because the table that was there, it had the effect of both fire and water and fire. So over here the person says that she was not she thought that the light electricity bill was too expensive. So what she did was that she used the candles, and one of the candle must have been fall over there, and then it caused a fire over there. So what happened, she goes to I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough, and then he goes over there, and what happens is then I said that I was a friend of Miss Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present, and then the others were also really very much happy because no one had came to meet her for such a long time over there. And then they had gone over there. He had gone over there. Miss Macpherson was not over there as she had gone somewhere. So the old lady that was sitting in the wheelchair and her hands were folded in her lap was the lady, and then she had silver white hair pinned into her wispy bun. She was gazing out at the garden. She was looking out at the garden, and then she said, "Happy Christmas, Coney." I went on. "I found this. I think it's yours." As I speak, her eyes never left my face. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. So he gave it the secret letter to her, and then what happens is she said nothing to him, and then she was like using her fingertips to just check it, and then she was like very much crying over there. He says, "You told me that you will come by Christmas, dearest, and here you are. The best Christmas present in the world for me is this." So what does she say is that this is the best Christmas present for me in the world. Come closer, Jim. Come closer. Sit down. So what do you understand over here is that she thinks that Jim was the only person who came over there. Jim was the only person who came over there because it was the Christmas day. Because in this also she is saying to him that, "Jim, come over here, come near." I sat beside her and she kissed my cheek. So what happens is he came and he sat just beside her, and then she kissed him. Miss Coney Macpherson kissed the author, and then he was reading the letter often Jim every day, and then after hearing his voice he was like very fine. And then what happens is they both were over there. He gets to know about Jim. So she was really very much old, so she didn't know over here. "I just want to hear your voice again. I did love that so much. And then perhaps we will have some tea. I have made a nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. I know how much you love marzipan." And here it ends. So this is written by Michael Morfroge, and he's the comprehension checks. You can discuss the question and answers are you by yourself for now, because I have already said you all the question and answers. I will be making notes and I will be sending to you also. So I hope you like this explanation video. So do like the channel, share in the video, and also subscribe our channel. Do help us by subscribing and pressing on this bell icon. Thank you and have a great job and a great day. Thank you.